comic book fans, and welcome to Cammy's Comic Corner. I have to first off apologize for any airplanes you might hear in the background or helicopters. It's just that I live in San Diego and the Red Bull air races are tomorrow, so they're practicing their run today. So pretty much it sounds like I live right next to Pearl Harbor. Enough about that, let's get on to the podcast. Warning, spoilers are abound in this episode. I mean it, I'm dead serious about that. Spoilers everywhere, so if you don't want any of the books you see in the description ruined for you, just go read your books, come back, and then we'll get this jolly old show on the road. Are you back? Alright, let's get right into it. First up from Marvel this week, we have the Immortal Iron Fist number 14. Written by Matt Fraction and Ed Brubaker, and art by Tansy Zunjic and Clay Mann. Now, everything that's been happening in the past 8 issues of the Immortal Iron Fist, with the whole Battle of the Seven Cities, the whole Tournament of Kunlun, it's all come down to this one final bloody conclusion. And believe me, it is a battle of epic proportions, people. Now, if you haven't been following, there's this evil guy, Zhao, who's been trying to get into the sacred Kunlun plane, dimension, so he can blow it all to smithereens while this tournament is happening. In this issue, Danny Rand, aka the Immortal Iron Fist, bands together all the warriors of the tournament, and together they all go kick ass. Lots of Hydra ass. So in this issue we have all the regular players. We have Fat Cobra, we have Dog Brother number 1, we have Tiger's beautiful daughter, the Bride of Nine Spiders, Prince of Orphans, and even Lei King the Thunderer, all in this issue kicking tons of ass. Now, you might be asking yourself, why should I care? Because it's a great comic. That's why you should care. All hope is lost for Hydra in this issue. And then finally, Davos comes onto the playing field. Are you worried? Don't be, because Davos chooses the right side this time. He chooses Immortal Iron Fist's side. And together they battle Hydra. Zhao says before he commits suicide, there is an 8th city. And then he just drops to his death. Now, Daniel Rand has to take the rest of the warriors back to the Earth dimension so he can go and discover this 8th city. Great issue. Sadly, we only have 2 issues left with Mr. Matt Fraction and Ed Brubaker and David Asia before they're off the book and a new team's on. But that's all for the pick of the week. Now on to everyone's favorite, the Fast 5.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
First up from Image Comics, we have Proof, number 7. In this great issue, they're trying to save dinosaur species in Africa. It's being hunted, the dinosaur species are being hunted by this cryptozoology hunter who hunts them for sport. And looks like Proof, the agent, the Sasquatch agent, is captured in this issue, and we'll have to see what happens to him next. Will it be this main course, or will he kick some ass? Next up from DC, we have Green Lantern number 30, written by, as usual, Jeff Johns, and this is part 2 of Hal Jordan's origin story. We find out that he is no longer a pilot ever since his little stunt back in issue 1, and all he can be now is just a lowly mechanic. He's just looking for a job. The company he's working for gets bought by Ferris Air, and guess what? He's an employee. And just as he's turns new employee of Ferris Air, Avengers' ship, which we find out is killed by Atrocious, the Red Lantern, that we don't even know Red Lanterns exist yet. He is the one who makes the ship go down in flames. Abinsur's last dying breath goes out to Hal Jordan, says, hey, you want to be a Green Lantern kid? Because here's your chance. Here's your chance to be a Green Lantern Corps. And just as he dies, his last dying breath is, Sinestro. Because they were pals, apparently. Abinsur and Sinestro. They were both onto the Blackest Night, a little ordeal. But anyway, good issue. Can't wait to see what happens next issue. How Hal Jordan is going to deal with being a Green Lantern for the first time. Next up from Platinum Studios, we have I Was Kidnapped by Lesbian Pirates from Outer Space, number 1. I picked up this title on a whim, just by the title alone, because that made me go, what the hell is that all about? And believe me, if the title sounds silly, well, it's because it is a silly book. The title pretty much explains it all, no need to go into detail, But this one woman, like, writes, draws. She does everything on this book. Like, she is the only credit on that book. Next up, from DC, we have Blue Beetle number 26. The all-Spanish issue. Parasite and Blue Beetle battle it out. And don't worry, if you just still want to know what they're saying back and forth to each other, the entire English script is in the back. But still, it's just one of those issues that are creative and they have the balls to go onto another language. And so all you can do is learn from the pictures. I really enjoy that kind of storytelling. And I hope to see it more. I hope this launches a new kind of comic book wave, like a foreign language comic book, if there is such a thing. And finally this week we have New Avengers number 40. Another Secret Invasion tie-in, or shall I say, a Secret Invasion infiltration issue. In this issue we find out how, back in the New Avengers Illuminati number 1 special, when the Illuminati pretty much blew up a big old Skrull ship and they were captured for a while, well, all of their DNA was taken and coded. And so now they were cloning all the Illuminati members. And the cliffhanger, this is a huge spoiler, so if you really don't want to be spoiled, remember how last week in Mighty Avengers I was like, oh, Jessica Drew, how could I ever doubt you? You're 1 in a million. Damn it, she's a Skrull. She's the Queen. The Queen goes, who do I want out of this entire library of characters, of superheroes I can be? Who do I want? I want that C-list character. I want Spider-Woman. And you know what? It makes sense. She's low enough that no one suspects her, and she has all these different connections, Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D., now Nick Fury, that no one's going to suspect her. It's just Bendis, once again, fucking with your head. Well, I'm kind of out of breath, and thank goodness, because that's all for the Fast 5 this week. Just a little closing announcements before I get to this end of the show. Congratulations to Scott for winning Justice League International, the volume that I had up for sale again, or had up for bid again last week. Everyone, a lot of people emailed me, all the Robins, except one. Sure, you got your Dick Grayson, your Jason Todds, and your Tim Drakes. But the one I was looking for was Stephanie Brown. That's right, the one of the female Robins. And another closing note, Around Comics, one of my favorite podcasts, is finally back from its hiatus. It's been a few months. And I highly recommend that show. That's one of my favorite comic book podcasts. The humor on that show and the discussions that they go into are enough to make anyone chuckle. So if you want a good comics podcast, an audio comics podcast, I highly, highly recommend Around Comics. And finally, I leave you with this. I saw Iron Man this morning. And I gotta say, if you're gonna see one movie this weekend, see Iron Man. Like I predicted, it was Marvel's Batman Begins. And for the love of God, people, stay until after the credits. You will not regret it. You will throw up your arms in the air like I did and go, yes, yes! So please do yourself a favor and stay after the credits of Iron Man. You will not regret it. If you want to be our friend, go to myspace.com/Cammy's Comic Corner. From there you can subscribe to us on iTunes. And below the iTunes link, now you can subscribe to us on Libsyn. My RSS feed is right there, so go ahead and click on that link, and everything's will be all good. So, I am out of breath. I got a lot of editing to do. I'm hot and sweaty, and Pearl Harbor is happening right next door. I hope to see you next week. I'm Cammy, and this has been Cammy's Comic Corner. Woo! Next up from Platinum Studios, we have I Was Kidnapped by Lesbian Pirates from Outer Space. No, hold on.